I tell you what, just when you think it's safe to go get some McDonald's, because you're like, AV have this, it's fine, Gravitas can't win, bam! Gravitas back with a vengeance. Rusty, you love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's human, right? That's the place that I've always got to look at. Like, regardless of what happens in terms of results for the game, Human's always been the person who has stepped up the most for Gravitas in general. And again, another massive performance from him, right? Puts the team on his back. The team still does well. Like, there are marked improvements that need to be discussed on top of that. Like, Kwaku had a shocking first week and a half, but comes back into this one and looks much more like the Kwaku that we saw in Split 1. So all of these things start to come together. Suddenly the upset's possible.
He was tanking up a storm. That was Kwaku's best game I think I've seen him play. At some points 2v1ing, he picks up the 1v1 kill. He was just a monster that game.
It was just such a crazy game. By the start of it, where we had the Syndra first pick, I'm thinking, what is going on here? This seems a little bit crazy, given how strong mid lane counters can be. And then, we see the Echo come out, and I'm thinking, all right, we might have this as a bot lane. But it felt to me that despite Puma and Beats not, having as much strength as they wanted in that bot lane, the response from both Violet and Appy was almost merited in the same fact that it was all about the mid jungle, and Lisa just got completely bullied out there by Prayless.
I'm sorry. I'm sure everything you guys are saying is really interesting. I'm just
You
looking
haven't heard a word of that.
I'm looking at the chat. Human won because he bought pants. Gravitas really wore the pants in that game. It's catching on, guys. The memes we've got out of this: the pants, the dab daddy, the floss father floss, whatever it was. The Skimmy's weird pink room. If Skimmy spent less money on getting food delivered to his house, he could afford a tiny little cupboard for whatever it is that's sitting in the corner of your room right now. What is back there?
So this is my shoes, and then that's my my EPOS headset.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Much love,
right.
EPOS.
I couldn't see the shoes. It just looked like a small box. There you go. That was a big waste of my time.
Thank you.
Let's jump on with the Nick bag.
Hey, Nick, I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
For the Nick bag.
Yeah.
Why did Sydney get restaurants before Melbourne?
Well, we've covered
Because
this.
we're better.
Yeah. I mean, we're cleaner than you. I mean, it's now a fact. It's a government-endorsed fact that Sydney is cleaner than Melbourne. That would be the main thing, because we've been going back to cafes for a couple of weeks now.
And sub-question, do Sydney have restrictions on their cafes? Because there is a whole lot of weird stuff going on right now as I read the hoops I have to jump through to be able to lead my humble abode to get any form of sustenance or nutrition.
Tell me what you have to do.
So I'm reading the article, right? And this is just what it says. It says 20 customers per dining space. So if the restaurant has separate dining spaces, apparently that goes up. I don't know what that means. What determines a dining space or a joint dining space? No, I'm not smart enough. So that means a 2-story restaurant can have 40 customers. This is confusing already. I'm
already lost.
20 patrons to like 1.4 square meters per patron of accessible dining space. What does
so
one
usable dining space?
But who determines what's usable or not?
So you're saying, like, does a thoroughfare count because you wouldn't sit in a thoroughfare?
Correct. So, and the reason this is all really important, because I'm sure people are saying, well, why do you care so much? You can't have more than 6 diners dining together. So if that means we go as 12, can we dine at 2 tables next to each other? Or is that now illegal?
As long as those tables are like 1.5 meters apart, maybe.
But so then why can't you just have 12 on the same table if they're all 1.5 meters apart? Why is the magical number 6? Is it because of some communal rule? I'm not smart enough for this. So, like, because maybe it's like about, being spreading to too many people. Maybe 6 is a magical multiplicable number that we don't inundate our hospitals. Then you have to be able to give over name, ID, so alcohol, which if you're over 18, you're allowed to have, can only be served with a meal which is determined to be more than a snack. What the blank is the difference between a meal and a snack?
That's true. Like, if I order the soup,
yes.
what am I getting?
Correct. And you have to be able to you pretty much have to give them your births, deaths, and marriages certificate to be able to dine in. The reason this is important, Twitch chat, is on the spot fines of $1,700 to patrons if you do not comply.
It's brutal. Wait, if you're to patrons?
To patrons! So I rock up, I apparently don't follow rules that I have no bloody idea what rules are, and I get paid fined $1,700?
Okay. Can I let you in on some just prime bullshit? It is, we have that thing where if you go into a cafe, you hand over, like, you need to give your name. I needed to give name and an email address. And so I went to a cafe with my boy, sit him down. Waitress comes up. She's very nice. She's like, so here are the menus. But just before you order, I just need to let you know, I legally have to get your name and email address. I'm like, that's fine. You can contact me if some outbreak happens, whatever. She was like, yeah, it's the rules and just in case an outbreak happens. I'm like, cool. And I hand it over. 2 days later, sitting at home, minding my own business. Bing, email pops up. It's a friggin' like, what's hot this week at that cafe email. And it's like, you added me to your mailing list. That's a genuine breach of my information that I gave you because you said legally I have to give you this, and now you've added me to your mailing list.
Did you reply back and say legally I'm hungry? I mean, maybe just be cheeky.
Am I wrong in thinking that this cafe should be sued into non-existence?
Oh, I mean, it's a
no, I'm
big
with
step.
you.
This is like the Facebook of cafes, just
Correct.
playing free and loose with my personal information.
It's definitely not okay. Like, that should not happen in any capacity. There should be two different lists, right? There's the one that you sign up for. There's the one that you have to sign up for, which involves no mailing. Unless it's to say someone that went to this place actually has COVID.
That's
because
so crap.
I want to make this abundantly clear. I understand what coronavirus is, and I understand that we all have a public responsibility to not spread coronavirus. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to be able to support local businesses without having to read a 30-page document, which is what I've Googled and found, and follow some rules that I'm somehow responsible for.
Yeah, you being responsible for is pretty wild. That's pretty crazy. Aussie Rookie says, give a false address. I don't want to give a false address, because if there's an outbreak and someone comes into the cafe, I need to know. I get that. Apparently I can report them. And then someone saying that, my first world luxury is a little harder to enjoy. Yes! That's the problem. Thank you for listening.
But,
everything's much worse now.
Stop being a jerk, because there are people out there right now that own restaurants that literally can't feed their kids because they can't get patrons through the door. So that's literally not a first world luxury at all. Get off your high horse, you snooty Twitch chatter.
And then there's those assholes who add me to their mailing list when I don't want to be added to. And they're the real monsters.
You know what I want, Nick? I just want us to be back in the studio. It looks a little bit like LEC where they had that screen between the casters. Mm-hmm. I would love that, right? We're back in the studio. We're on the couch. There's massive, intrusive, screens between us. And I mean, it's very dramatic, like, holding up against the side of, like...
If we wore hazmat suits, we could get as close as we want. We could all sit on one chair.
Can I cast that?
Stacked.
You know the mask you wore during the MSS, during those interviews? Can I wear that and we cast? That is consideration.
Absolutely. It'll make your voice sound cool.
Yeah.
We got time for one last question. This is either going to go really easy or it's going to tear the OPL apart as we know it. This one comes in from an unknown. Please, people, leave your name when you submit on the Google form. As leg, foot, and hips experts, are butts part of legs?
No.
It's the top of the leg.
No?
It's the top of the leg.
No, it's not. It's a separate thing completely.
Leg, thigh, butt. It's all one piece. If you cooked me up, you'd snap it off at the hip.
Well, okay. Are we going to talk about how to eat people? Is that the...
Well, this is one of the direction. Hey, okay.
Is that where it's ended up?
We've taken the pants off. Now let's get to the meat.
Okay, so what is butt?
Butt is cheek. Not.
I think half of cheek is leg and half of cheek is torso.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm thinking about how I break off a drumstick, right, of a chicken. Mm-hmm. And let's just, some basic human anatomy. This bone goes up to your hip, which is somewhere in here. So I'm thinking if I snap my leg off, Nick style, then, probably half my butt
I reckon. Also,
is...
we all noticed that you're wearing pants, and you were famous
He's done for. He's done
anti-pants.
for.
Exposed.
Definitely, I agree with Spawn. Half the butt absolutely is part of the leg. The anus is its own thing. Like that's its own.
Well, you just went straight there, didn't you?
That's
I
its
mean,
own
sure.
delicacy. That's like
We were dancing around the idea, and you just went straight in there, mate.
but butt cheek. That's prime top leg.
Okay,
that's the
but
top leg.
The thing is, if there's a joint there, there's a separation, and because the joint is like in the middle of a part of one of the butt muscles, at least a little bit, right? I think it's like the glute med.
Yep.
They are at least in part connected. So
Yeah, right. So where do you fall? Because you're the one here who actually studies like human physiology.
bit of both.
Bit of both. Half and half.
About a third.
I'll take a third. I'll take
half
a third.
and half.
Any
Half and
percentage,
half,
any
it's easier.
percentage of cheek being attached to leg, I'm going to classify as yes, they are part of the leg, and then it just blends up. Also, I mean, we got to factor in butt size here, leg size.
Also,
girth
kind of like
both.
human anatomy, because there are some people that have those butts that go up to like the back of their necks, and like
That's a mental image.
True.
so like it really does depend on the person.
And that's all we got time for. There's only one Nick Bag question here today.
Visual. That is literally all the time we have. I just got in my ear that it's like, all right, it's time to move on. You've had your talk about a butt's part of the legs, and you argued about like breach of privacy with email addresses. All right, it is time to get into game number 4 for the evening. It's the banger that I've been looking forward to. It is Direwolves versus Pentanet. Gentlemen, very quickly around the horn, starting with Spawn, heading to Skimmy, and then onwards to Rusty. Who's taking it out? DW or PGG?
DW.
D-dubs.
How do you sit with your butt up to your neck?
All right, we'll see
not a
you
prediction.
in the Macca's Champ Select for Direwolves versus PGG. And that game is all thanks to NeoSurf, our partner, who giving you guys the chance to buy all the skins that can show the butt leg imaginable in League of Legends. All you need to do is record a video of you joining the OPL opening video phone call, and you can win yourself a $500 NeoSurf voucher to use in the League of Legends store. Just take a video of yourself joining our call, follow OPL and NeoSurf Esports on Twitter, and then DM that video to @OPL. You've got until next week, end of next week, to get your entries in. We'll be judging them, so get super creative. All the leg butt you can think of. Full terms and conditions are on watch.lolesports.com. And while the first prize is a $500 NeoSurf voucher, there are going to be 5 runners-up, and each of them get $100 dues to spend in the League of Legends store, thanks to NeoSurf. So a massive thank you to them. NeoSurf, where your privacy is protected and no need to provide a credit card or personal information to a waitress who uses it to add to their mailing list. All right, it's time for game number 4 for the evening. It is Direwolves versus PGG, and it is coming up with the Macca's Champ Select.
Should the fans support Pentanet, Jay?
Why should the fans support Pentanet? Well, I would say that the thing about us that makes us a good team to follow is that our wins and losses are all done together. And that's the mentality that this team has more than any team I've ever been on otherwise. Every bit of blame falls on every individual shoulders. And I've never seen a time after a game or in any down moment where someone has shifted blame anyway. Everyone accepts it as themselves and as a whole. And it's how can we get better, not how can I get better.
I've lost my one redeeming feature.
Your one thing, your whole brand is gone.
No more bright hair.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
doomed.
He doesn't have colourful hair anymore, but he still has an amazing personality. So stick around.
And this is it, the final game of week number 2, and it is a very big one here, guys. Direwolves up against Pentanet.gg, who actually suffered their first loss yesterday up against Order, no bet. So now they are looking really to sort of showcase where they are in that relative term of strength. Direwolves, the secret, I want to say strength that kind of nestled itself under the likes of Chiefs and Legacy and got themselves into those grand finals, really hitting their stride. But Pentanet.gg, you know, so many strong expectations going into Split 1. They've come out the doors to Split 2 with a rejuvenated sense of hope and structure, but suffering their first defeat yesterday, we hope that doesn't bother them too much here, their spawn.
And do you know what's at the stake at the moment, Skimmy? The mess. Because right now we have Legacy, Chiefs, and if Direwolves win this game, we are back to just the mess. That is the middle of the OPL table, where everyone beats everyone, and Legacy beats Chiefs, beats everyone else. Because there would be 4 teams at 2-2 after week 2 if Direwolves pick up this dub.
Just copy-paste Split 1 standings, we go next again. That's what we're going to be hoping to avoid with some new narratives, some new stories. As this draft is what it's spinning through as quickly as we can see. I feel like it's become a bit of a namestay now up against Pentanet.gg. Ever since they debuted this Fiddlesticks, it has been a perma-banned first rotation to take it away. And, well, we're going to stick to that Yuumi as long as it's up. We talked about it a bit before in the Oceanic region, you know, it seems like it's not getting as punished as, say, the other regions. So you get the chance, you lock it in. The response here, let's stick with the Aphelios, let's stick with a double carry threat. Let's get the Lulu for the extra sense of protection around it.
You say if you get the chance, you lock it in, but to be completely honest, Skimmy, we haven't actually seen Rogue play Yuumi. I don't know if he's actually played Yuumi ever. He definitely hasn't played at Split 1. He hasn't played at Split 2. That's very interesting to me, Skimmy. And
we're getting the Janna top lane again.
Okay, but they won with it last time, so I shouldn't be too critical of it, right?
It went into a set last time, right? Now it's going into an Ornn. I look at this and I say, you've got 2 major carries on either team, and you've just got a bunch of supports around them to empower them. You've got 2 bruisers looking to pick targets.
Yep. I would say Olaf is genuinely a carry on the PGG lineup, because you're going to have a Yuumi and a Janna shield on this Olaf.
That is very true, actually.
So he can probably kill Shock or Vital in a 1v3, in a sense, right? So yeah, I would say Olaf should be considered a carry, especially with Pabu playing it. We've seen him prioritize a lot of farm. Biopanther's going to be the person that skips out on farm on the Janna. I like the Pentanet comp apart from the Janna. If they had just a standard tank top laner like a Set or like a Maokai, I actually think Pentanet's lineup is super strong here, Skimmy. The Janna needs to be able to get something done in the mid game, otherwise just gets ridiculously outscaled.
What's interesting to me with the, as you highlight, the Olaf carry with the Yuumi, we saw even your own team there with Order actually forcing 4v5s, and the Olaf just runs 1v3 and then takes them all down. So there's a definite degree of strength there. You're not just looking to pick it for the mobility factor that we'll have in that laning phase, but I just look at this and say you've got so many carries, so many threats, and so many supports to make sure that these guys can pop off, that it looks like we've got very similar drafts, but with their own individual tweaks. It feels like I've got a very big focus now looking at these junglers as well as AD carries.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that, you know, it is always a worry that if the Olaf gets accelerated, that it can take over just the entirety of the champion select. But once again, we are talking about probably the 2 strongest carries on the side of the Direwolves. They've got themselves a Aphelios as well as Syndra. Shock is a big Syndra player. He plays it, you know, all the time. I think it was completely banned off him in the entirety of the Gauntlet, Skimmy. So this is definitely a game that is winnable for Pentanet, but can't sleep on how good Direwolves draft is as well.
Direwolves have the engagement tools. They have the Lee Sin. They have the Ornn, and that could be something that comes back to haunt Pentanet.gg here, as they're relying really on soft CC, or very much reliant on the fact that a Echo Sphere can land and lock these members in place. This will be our final game of the week. Direwolves taking on Pentanet.gg, the middle of the pack, the mess as you call it. Who can pull away and stand strong on their own?
That's always been the question of the OPL, Skimmy. The answer last split was Direwolves did for a time, and then Order caught them in the final week. It was only actually the head-to-head that secured them that spot. But as of right now, the mess is starting to re-establish itself.
Early game aggression already coming ahead for Pentanet. As Olaf goes hunting, Yuumi on his head, the rest of the boys in support. They're going to go straight into the enemy jungle. And steal away a red buff.
Okay, Skimmy, why is this important? Because Yuumi wins no lane. Yuumi Ezreal loses probably the most gracefully out of all the lanes that Yuumi has. But Yuumi actually doesn't lose very many lanes. What is going on mid? Did you see that?
I saw a mini-map, and I wish I got to see what actually happened there. Janna mid?
Janna took a creep.
Okay.
And now they're crossing back over. Get back just doesn't get to lane.
What is going
Everyone's
on?
just jacking Get Back's experience.
And he's already down to half right now. Fully reliant now on that corrupting potion to sustain himself as the minion dematerializer to match the shove and push that Syndra can output, especially 1 to 6.
Okay, Skimmy, so what I was going to say is the reason that's a really good invade for Pentiment.gg is the fact that, of course, map split, Janna doesn't really care about losing lane because she doesn't win very many lanes. And on the flip side, Yuumi doesn't win very many lanes, but with the jungler on your side of the map, you can artificially win the lane for the first 3-4 levels, right? Which will give them enough time to scale up. However, Pabu just threw that all out the window with his crazy pathing. And for some reason, BioPanther was just jacking Get Back's experience. This is the craziest early game I think I've ever seen.
It doesn't follow the tradition of the fanning out or the standard invade. But that tends to be the weakness of a Yuumi. You are very much reliant on your AD carry, very much reliant on the person you're coupled with. You're not typically a single body, hence why you do lose lane, right? Roam around and control vision and dictate terms. We might see exactly what that means. Throw goes hunting, but he takes so much of a beating right now. Is his jump on cooldown? It looks like it is. He falls on down for first blood. The root connects. Sonic Wave is there. And that's 2 kills, too easily achieved here by the Direwolves.
And this game's an absolute mess for Pentanet already. You can see that without the Olaf on the bottom side of the map, the Ezreal and the Yuumi were not able to keep themselves bottom lane priority. Pabu to the Scuttle Crab late means a double kill going across. He still wants more, however.
He still wants this fight, but Decoy's there, the first one to rotate to this one. Can he be the difference maker? It's not going to be enough as Pabu does get that kill secure. He is low, but Get Back is still looking for something. And that might just be a shield before he runs away without any mana. Crazy, crazy first 5 minutes here.
This game's hilarious, to be honest. Okay, so Janna, big lead in the top lane now. Able to come back to lane with a Fairy Charm and Double Door and Ring. We'll see whether can use that to bully the Ornn around. Also, can't sleep on the fact that bottom lane gets a little bit of additional time with a Frozen Wave to deny some experience and CS away from this Aphelios, who is on the verge of getting very much out of control, Skimmy. But at the same time, I think we're going to see both of these teams just brawl. I don't know whether anything we've seen so far is actually going to matter at all. Because I think they're just going to continue to fight. Much like Chiefs versus Order, and whoever executes the fights better is just going to win.
I do like these kind of games. Skill checks, always the fun ones to watch. Maybe not as elegant as well orchestrated macro or outplays on that front, but it definitely gives you something to cheer for. We now get to see exactly what that means in terms of the greater scale as Kratos has gone for the coal. We'll have a nice time farming away here with the extra stats that Yuumi provides.
Yep. And I think what people forget, Skimmy, is the game shouldn't be one or the other. There should be some great team fights with some good macro. But unfortunately in the OPL, we either see fantastic macro and very little action, or absolutely no fights. The shot gets level 6 first.
And he does, and with a blue buff, Get Back is forced to play fancy feet, juking left and right, making sure he does not get hit by one of those stuns. The Dragon gets set up. The Direwolves are the first one to rotate there with the priority. Wave is crashing in. And they've already got themselves a nice 1,000k, 1,000k, well that's a lot, 1,000 gold lead.
You can see that mid lane is 23 CS right now, Skip.
Yeah.
Get Back's getting owned in the mid lane. See whether he can pick up any of this experience. And he's really just getting bullied. I feel like he needs to get himself a kill or a gank to have any hope coming back into this mid game.
He's definitely taken a fair beating underneath his tower right there. The Sphere is only denying a fraction of the combo that Shock is throwing his way. But if he even tries to threaten the idea of being aggressive, Shock's got his number, punishes exceptionally well, and puts him right back to that tower.
Well, Shock also just has a flash available, but Get Back doesn't, right? You can see that Miro wastes no time, goes down, going to pick himself up that dragon. Top lane, despite the fact that Fire Panther didn't teleport down, because he doesn't have teleport, he's a heal Janna for some reason, means that he's not all that far ahead either. In fact, he was getting pushed in, so there's no real priority. You can see Chippy's doing a really great thing here, moving off his push and actually scouting out exactly where Parbu is on Summoner's Rift. So, I mean, really not all that much has changed, Gimme. If we go back to what we said in Champions, like, how is this team comp going to operate against each other? Well, it all comes down to how much they can buff up this Olaf and this Echo throughout the mid-game. I think that's still the case, but you're just going to be doing it from a bigger discrepancy than you would have liked at the start.
This is what Janna did last time as well with the heal. All about team fight strength is what they look to be going towards right now. But all their lanes for Penta as it stands are being pressed against their towers. Any chance for them to try and emit any kind of pressure is being shut down immediately.
And that's the issue I have, right? Oh, actually, hold the thought. Very nice stun there coming out of Shock will actually keep him safe. This could be our first 5v5 skin.
It could be. All that priority is meaning that Direwolves can reign supreme. They can go anywhere they want on this map, led by Miru. He starts the first dragon, he goes for the first herald. They pick up literally everything with Scuttles online as well. Vision control. It's looking so clean right now.
Okay, so when you're the early game team fighting comp, and you've been beaten to the first two objectives of the game, Skimmy, the game becomes very, very scary. Because that was a good grouping play coming across from Pentanet. They went through mid lane first to guarantee themselves a push there. But you can see that Direwolves just didn't really care. They just walked straight into the objective, take it away. 1,300 gold as well as a Rift Herald now. And you can see all 5 of them still topside of Summoner's Rift because they know that this Janna can't push turrets down. So look at Ornn. Ornn is just double jungling.
I don't know, Spawn. I don't know what we're watching right now, but I tell you what, it is Direwolves definitely exerting their playstyle on this map and showing that Pentanet, if you want to try and be creative, if you want to try and use that Janna top again, we're going to punish you and punish you so damn hard. 10 minutes into this one, they're starting to pull away with a 2,000 gold lead starting to accrue as a result of summoning the Herald, prepping it perfectly with the plates falling on down to 2. The headbutt will connect. The first trial will go down in the top side hit for Direwolves.
Yeah, and now it's nearly 3,000 gold the lead, Skimmy. So whilst it was looking an optimistic 2,000, it's turned into a disastrous, 2.5, call it 3 at this stage of the game at 10 minutes. And Parbu's still farming up a storm. He's still exactly where he wants to be in this game, but you can see even that, 4 camp lead still means he's down in gold just because of how well Direwolves have done getting to these neutral objectives and kind of scouting exactly what the Janna wants to do.
You can see that Parbu is matching good participation with farm of his own, hence the difference, but it does mean they are dead even on that front, but you can feel the impact that Miru is having by dropping down the heralds and sharing the gold around to the members that matter, and Vital this far accelerated over a Ezreal. We've seen it before. We know what it means.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, to just go back why the Ezreal is picked, it has a cheaper 2-item spike. At 2 items, 3 items, it comes into the game really well with the Yuumi. But if you are the Aphelios, you're always going to be able to outscale it through the crit build. And if you get to the 2 items at the same time, then you're just actually not weaker. Because the gold differential becomes null and void, right? If you got more gold, surprisingly enough, the cost of your item doesn't really matter all that much. And that's the stage of the game that Vital is at. Fire Panther's also sat on a board for this whole time. And you can see Chippy is just getting free farm.
Yeah, it's a little bit disgusting right now. A 1-for-1 happens in the jungle. And Miru takes that one again. They now look for a second bit of fighting in the mid wave. There's a little bit of credit over the chrono break. But despite it, all the things, all the juke potential he had, Direwolves were 3 strong. Will take him down as well.
Yep, so they're going to lose a fight in bottom jungle, even though Biopanther was right there and Chippies was topside of Summoner's Rift, still pushing, still accruing an individual lead Meanwhile, they'll also take down what looks to be the entirety of mid lane turret nearly before this teleport comes in. And this is just Pabu getting caught out. Very nice flash, but Miru will flash follow. Of course, that ultimate means you don't have resistances.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
no. It's everywhere right now. Vital nearly gets the kill, but saved by the bell is Praetor. As the cat comes in clutch, has to burn the sun of the hill.
Here.
Has to use the heal itself. Miru coming through top try. He's looking to try and make something happen underneath this turret. True Shot Barrage will trim the wave, but maybe result in trimming his own health bugs. He's going to fall on down. Vital receives the empowerment and can afford to play aggressive.
They're just styling right now, Skimmy.
They sure are.
This is a 5,000 gold lead at 12 minutes. Put a cork in it.
And this
one
really
is nearly
highlights your
done.
talking point, right? You talk about there being a mess. And we're talking about these teams, you know, showcasing some fantastic form, then it flips on its head from time to time. They also come into this one and said, we're not going to play a slow macro game. We're not going to play the Pentanet style of gameplay. We want to be aggressive, and we're pulling away so far before the 15-minute mark.
So what did we have week 1, Skimmy? We had Direwolves going 0-2.
Yeah.
And we had Avant and Pentanet going 2-0 and Order going 1-1. Now this week we've had Avant and Pentanet go 0-2 if this game concludes with a Direwolves victory. Direwolves going 2-0, Order going 1-1. That's crazy.
It's literally looking like opposites attract.
And that's the 4 teams
so
right
crazy.
now that are caught in the mess guard. That's what we're talking about. And they're going to be all the 2-2 teams. Obviously, Legacy 4-0, they're looking like the best team in the comp. Chiefs still 3-1. They're right there behind them. You know, obviously, some things to work through with Drake. Not perfect gameplay from the Chiefs, but Proc, Thing, and Claire still looking very, very good on that lineup. So yeah,
that has to become the narrative, right? We have to understand who is going to be the threat. Who are we looking for to try and be the team to challenge as the split continues against Legacy?
because honestly, after last week, you would have said maybe Pentanet, because they had the cleanest game. But Pentanet have been run over twice this week, I think.
There's just nowhere to hide. They are getting so much value. Picture perfect really spawned there. Full team that just hits, all the plates are gone. The gold is so far accelerated. We're talking 30 CS discrepancy between those AD carries. We're talking so many kills as well. Infinity Edge, before he's even looking at the idea of a tier being any sort of value.
Yeah, this is a fully online Aphelios with an Ardent support. Definitely not going to have a crit item trough in this game, Skimmy. And unfortunately, I'm just struggling to find things to talk about because Direwolves are really kind of just doing whatever they want.
So what are we looking at, right, in the sense that Biopamp has now just completed the Athenes. Are we waiting now for Rogue to go for either the Redemption or the Ardent Sensor and say, look, we need to sacrifice a few more objectives, and then look at that fight where, you know, Pabu can run in with all this supporting power behind him. We can try and look for the sort of fight fire with fire style.
Yeah, that's what you would hope for, right? I think, you know, what you would hope for is maybe Pabu had one more kill and, you know, maybe didn't have a death and that you had maybe both these dragons early off your split map play. And then, as you mentioned, you know, you get Ardent, you get yourself the Athene, you put the shields on him, and he just runs into the team and tries to tank everyone whilst creating enough disruption for maybe Echo and Ezreal to put out some damage or get a good play.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation is, with how strong Shock is and how strong Vital is, Shock is farming 20 CS over the clock right now and has tanked 2 turrets. And Vital is, you know, already at Infinity Edge. If Pabu runs in, he's just going to die.
He dies regardless. And I mean, that's really the case here of Direwolves playing at YouTube 5 times speed. They are not letting you have any chance to farm, play into those kind of win conditions that your draft is designed to do. They are taking everything. 4 turrets to 1. All the objectives going their way. It's destruction first 15 minutes here. The dream early game, really.
Yeah, and ultimate going to be fired out. You can see that they're just not slowing down anytime soon.
That's a 3-man tornado now into the final chapter. Is that enough to send them up? It won't be. The Shock just does so much damage when that ultimate comes flying. They just destroy Biopamp with squishy health bar. He has that magic resistance, but it just does not matter. Now mini skirmish takes place here. Well, they get back in, forced to respond with an instant ultimate back out.
I thought that was going to be a highlight play there, Skimmy. But that was Direwolves feeding themselves through a choke point. You can see still just enough damage from the Syndra, from Vital, despite not having ultimate, to be able to shut off the choke and be able to win the trade. They come back out onto the map having just shopped with the 7,000 gold lead, but you kind of saw what it was supposed to look like, right?
Yeah.
Fire Panther standing on top of Parbu, Rogue on Parbu as well, and then you could see that Get Back was ready to kind of bait them into the funnel point, maybe look for a trade. Unfortunately, it was just a 1-for-0, so Direwolves still winning out on that trade, but if there was more parity in the gold and the items, you would say that that's the situation that Pentanet won.
What a situation that quickly turns around right now, because it is a 7,000 gold lead that separates these two teams right now. You can see that really on the score sheet here, with Mira having a full black cleaver over what Parbu has now just turned into a phage, but no more so than in the mid lane here. Shock being such a powerhouse right in the CS department. He has got true damage now. Of all the magic penetration in the world, he is going to be hitting members hard at this stage of the game.
Yeah, let's have a look at what magic resistance there is. And they've gone actually double Athenes, which doesn't fill me with all that much hope. But if you have a look at what the magic resistance it is going to be the Athenes as well as that Merc Treads. Obviously, Ezreal can't pick anything up right now, so he's probably getting dealt true damage. Parbu with ultimate on is definitely getting dealt true damage by Shock. And as you kind of mentioned, like, no one's going to be surviving this level 12 syndrome.
You do manage to survive, or hang on a minute, you've got a backline of Philios that has an Infinity Edge and an Executioner's, which is just even finding more value now based on the fact that it is that double rush towards the Athenes.
And I don't hate the double Athenes. You know, both of them are healing, shielding champions. It is a really cost-efficient item. But I just wonder, like, whether one of them needs, like, a talisman or whatever it's called. You know, the item that makes you run quicker. Or, like, whether there's some... Yeah, Shirelia's Revelry. Thank you very much. It used to be called Talisman of Ascension. Or whether there's something else there, right? Because I just feel like you're not going to win a traditional game at this point. So there's no point building the traditional item. Parbu needs to build full AD. Like, there is no way about it. Otherwise, the comp just lacks damage. But from somewhere else, you need to be able to get a surprise. Like, I don't think this Lich Bane is all that necessary for Get Back. I would have loved to see Azonia's Hourglass to maybe set up a stun, buy some more time. You know, Echo diving in with the Sphere as well as Azonia's Hourglass and ulting would maybe buy some time and space for the team. But, like, the Lich Bane, he's not one-hitting anyone at this stage, Skinny. So I just think, you know, players at times get caught in ruts of what they're itemizing, but should be a little bit more creative.
See here that Pentanet are not able to play these lanes. They are forced to respond to the consistent mounting pressure that I will show their way. They are now hitting their 2-item power spike stride. They're showing what they can do. Now, Parbu having ticked at level 11 may possess a little bit more strength when coupled with the double support setup.
How quickly do they do Baron Skin?
Well, these weapons right now in Aphelios, mere second, surely.
I tend to agree. So
it's just spawned 20 minutes on the dot. Wouldn't that be interesting to see?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at kind of how the game is stalled out, right? There's one more turret in the mid lane that can, of course, be taken down. But outside of that, you're probably waiting for dragon spawns and the like. So I'm just wondering, like, at what stage do you go just hit the Baron with your Ornn? Because he's not going to take any damage, right? You've still got a Lulu. What stage do you try and push them out of their jungle completely and control that area? Rogue
well, that
run.
seems to be the shot call they've made. We're not too fussed about the idea of Baron, but them knowing how strong we are, knowing how scared they will be, they are the ones in the driving seat to have to be so hyper aware of this being a very real threat. They need to put down the vision, but they are sacrificing some positioning, which allows the likes of Vitals to walk in there and maybe pick up some kills, or maybe do situations like this. Miro jumps on in, receives the wild growth, takes a fair beating as he tanks the tower, and a little bit more. Not fall victim to that true shot barrage. The members of Direwolves are still incredibly tanky as they now round out what is a very crippled tier 2 mid turret.
The Get Back nearly died on the teleport there, Skimmy. Didn't see what actually hit him. It must have just been a bunch of Vitals damage, right? But he had to go back to base with no health at all. Miru obviously the same, but he's going to be able to heal up off jungle camps. It's going to be the final outer turret going down. Now no teleports available. Shock still has him, so they can post him up on bottom lane if they so choose. But I think, you know, probably 90 seconds into Dragon, into probably a full Baron setup here for the Direwolves lineup with their 8,000 gold lead.
Pentnet now to decide when they want to try and put this vision down, because the map completely belongs to the Direwolves. It's lit up. All things them at this stage. They have been terrified in their attempt to even try and control any side of their map. Anywhere they go, Direwolves have been squeezing them out. You talk about a full court press. Well, Direwolves are showing that it's not only Legacy that can play that style of game. We are definitely going to show you why we were a grand finalist.
Yeah, and I think people are forgetting that already, right? But this Direwolves lineup, probably at week 6 or 7, looked like they were one of the best teams in the OPL. And then they made it all the way to the grand final after some ups and downs at that point. But certainly are a formidable foe. Preparing for them is quite difficult. Shock plays a lot of unconventional stuff as well as some very conventional mages. So I think just looking at this, and they have no idea where they are.
Like they panic. The true shot barraging the Baron to say, where are you? Because we have no idea right now. You're off the map. There was no structures, no turrets for us to hide behind.
Yeah, I honestly think you can start it here, Skimmy. Even if you have to turn with Chippy's ultimate, I just don't see a way they can get in to contest.
Romana has now just evolved here for Kratos, but he comes to this fight a little bit low on mana. It is going to be Parbu that receives Yumi on his head. Can they find that pick? You can tell that Direwolves will start things off, but will definitely be looking for a fight instead. Get back, caught in the pit, is forced to flash away. The anxiety flowing through Pentanet right now is tangible. The Baron Leash continues. Direwolves threaten the idea of a team fight as Chippy jumps in, looks to try and lock in place Parbu. No 50-50 smite still as the Ragnarok comes on out. Final chapter trying to find a root target, but Vital kill secures. That's a double kill for the big man there. And they will just chase down kills whilst the rest of the team clean house with this Baron buff. And it is Aphelios hitting his power stride right now, going for the 1v3. He can do it! Is he gonna find it? The unofficial Penta. Vital gets it, and that really once and truly showcases how strong Direwolves are.
And Skimmy, I think I've seen enough. What a decisive fight coming out of Direwolves. As you mentioned on the back end there, that is Vital and an Ardent Sensor just going bonkers on Summoner's Rift. They start hitting the Baron, and as you mentioned, panic is the only way to describe this. Get back, jumping in, flashing out, jumping back in, ulting out. He was a non-factor the entirety of this fight. Miru tags up Parbu, takes him down, and then Vital just flashing forward and putting on a show for the fans. Look how much damage this Aphelios does. Get Season 10 championed. Ardent meta may be back here, Skimmy.
And this is what made many, myself included, such a big fan of this player when he came into the league. He said, I am an aggressive player, I'm 17 years old, I'm a Korean, I want to showcase what I can do. And he came in with an absolute stellar performance there. Yes, the playoffs were a little bit rough for him, but he's come back and, well, he is just showing that despite being at 10%, full faith in the team, full faith in Decoy, and able to put his team on the back there.
And obviously you can just have a bad Thanksgiving, so we don't want to overreact to the Pentanet plus GG situation here. But this looks more like Week 9 Pentanet than what we saw last week. Yeah. The same confusion about where are we fighting, how are we fighting, who is the carry of the lineup, you know, is it Get Back, is it Freighter? Is it Parbu this time around? Because last week they played really well around Get Back and Parbu. But a couple of the drafts this week looked like they needed to be Kratos drafts, and they just have not executed on themselves.
What can they find with this one? As it is going to be the final chapter being put onto Echo's head, but Get Back has actually disengaged away, so the ult does not find full value. Direwolves are inevitable in their attempts to close out this game. That ace moments before showcasing how strong they are, that anything that Pentanet throw their way does not do anything to them. The Baron buff will be enough. The gold discrepancy at 13,000 as these Nexus turrets start to fall on down. A last-ditch effort, a last chance for redemption here is Get Back without an ultimate. Will still die despite being in the fountain. Parbu collapsed. That's 2 kills going the way of Direwolves. They are strong. They do not play their opponent's style of gameplay. They play aggression. They play decisive. They are 15 kills to 1, ladies and gentlemen. They are the team to keep your eyes on.
They certainly are, and they don't want to end it, Skimmy. It looks like they want to go for another dive. Finally, they hit the Nexus. Direwolves go 2 on the weekend and join the mess in the middle of the pack.
From start to finish there, decisiveness, strength, individual playmaking. You could throw as many words at that as you like, but for me, Direwolves literally just came into that game and said, look, week 1, not too happy about that one. Let's flip the script. 2 defeats. Let's make that 2 victories. What a fantastic victory there. Direwolves definitely putting themselves back in contention as the team to watch in the top side of the league. And that is now going to be us welcoming back the boys from the desk. It's Nick Boy and Rusty. Nick, what did you think about that one? Are your pants still on, mate?
The Direwolves, they are. And the Direwolves, if Legacy are the legs of the OPL, the Direwolves are certainly a portion of the butt, which is also the leg, which means that they are part of the most important part of the OPL, because as we all know, the leg is the most important part of the body, because the leg wears the pants.
I regret everything there.
Dab Daddy. That's how we rounded out here. No, a great victory for Direwolves there. And Rusty, at the end, you were just you were giving some pretty strong advice to PGG.
Was I? That wasn't meant to go on air, Nick.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't say it. I was like, you were like, yes, I would. You were supposed to say something like, yes, in the wrap up, like review of the games, I would have strongly advised X, Y, and Z.
Yes, I would have strongly advised them to not play the Janna top in place of another potential champion. I also would have advised them to not do what they did in the first 2 levels of the game, because I'm still processing. And I can't work it out.
I genuinely want to go back and watch what happened in the mid lane. Like, I hope I get the raw replay file of it, because it looked like BioPanther took experience on the entirety of the melees of the first wave. And I don't know whether it was because they needed the push out of the Echo. And then it was like BioPanther hadn't done his job. So then Babu just ran through and did the job for him with another axe and took another creep of experience. So from what I could see, 4 creeps on the first 2 waves were taxed experience-wise for get back. And yeah. I'm no mid laner. I'll have to ask Harry, but I'm pretty sure that means you're not hitting level 3 on the correct wave, and you're going to spend a whole creep wave, level 3 to level 2, and there is no mid lane matchup you can win if you have to spend 6 creeps level 3 to level 2. Like, you should just lose
level 3 champion.
Half of your health just trying to even fight for it. That was, if it was a deliberate strat, that was crazy. Because in my head, when you get that map split, you just stay bottom side, and your Ez Yumi gets to scale for free, and you're happy as a pig in excrement. Mm-hmm. However, what happened with that cross just lost prio in all 3 lanes, and it was a fiesta, as my old friend Yamato would say. A clown fiesta.
Yeah, it also pushed Parba to the side of the jungle where there was only 1 camp left, so they may not have been aware of the starting position of the opposing team. I think that may be the biggest undoing of them.
But how do you find out that information? You have to put your Janna and run her through the top jungle, not park her mid.
All right, we've clearly broken the Dab Daddy. Let's take a look at the results from today. My favorite result of today is just the slow decline of spawn in the last 2 nights, from well-dressed professional caster to just hobo ranting about League of Legends. Game number 1, Legacy taking down Mammoth in a game that was not as easy for them as they probably would have expected. Game 2, Chiefs strongly punishing Order. Game 3, Gravitas, the surprise upset against AV, and finally Direwolves coming in and coming up against a Pentanet.gg, who were honestly playing a different game today.
They couldn't play the game. They literally couldn't play the game. From level 1 onwards, you lost all priority, you lost the ability to do anything, and Direwolves, I don't know if they've got like an energy drink sponsor or something, but they were playing with so much temp, even I was going, hang on a minute. It was crazy.
What do you have in New Zealand? Do you have Vegemite, Marmite? Like,
good question, because I actually don't like those. I actually don't like those. No, I know.
Right,
I know when I lived in the UK and I did my first holiday to Australia, they're like, you have to try Vegemite, and I was like, what is this? It feels like I'm eating like, the stuff you put like tar on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tar.
She's tragic.
That's what we use. That's what we use.
That's why you're so rock hard. That's why we can take this brutal banter. right?
That's why our legs are so strong. I don't know. Let's take a look at the standings as they stand right now. What do they stand on? The legs of the OPL. Ah, there it is. Standings. Legacy, top of the table, 4 wins, 0 defeats. Second place, Chiefs, and then tied for third. We got Direwolves, AV, Order, and PGG running down the board. 7th place is Gravitas, but they're on the comeback. And finally, 8th, looking for their first win, hopefully next week, it is Mammoth. Let's take a look at the potential for that first win, because we've got Friday's schedule for you. We want to see you guys joining us next week for more OPL action and the games you will be getting on Friday, the 19th of June. Direwolves versus Gravitas, Game 1. Chiefs versus Mammoth, Game 2. Legacy taking on PGG for Game 3. And Order v Avant, Game 4. So that's what you can look forward to next week. What you can look forward to this week is a little MPL action, a little MPV action, a little MPR action. We're going to be jumping back into Valorant tonight because, boys, I feel like we did a pretty good job yesterday, despite Spawn's constant berating of us.
We went 1-1 on the day. I feel like that's a consistency that we can, at the very least, keep from now on.
Mm-hmm. Spawn, do you have anything to say about yourself?
I want to go eat dinner. Please turn
well,
off the
unfortunately,
camera.
you've got 2 hours of playing with me in a shooter. But also, we want to be playing with you guys. So add me on Valorant, Nickboy, NICHBOY,
I'll put it in chat.
OCE. We'll be grabbing some randoms, hopefully not as good as that first stack we came up against yesterday, and we'll be playing a couple of games against you guys, so we would love to see you there. We love our sponsors as well, Macca's, EPOS, and Neosurf. A massive thank you to all 3 of our beautiful sponsors for coming on board OPL Split 2 2020. A massive thank you to production. A thank you to Spawn, Skimmy, and Rusty. Boys, today was a day where I feel like we learned a lot. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
It's not about the destination, Nick. It is about the journey. And this journey has been downright miserable and just filled with pain and anguish.
This is a crazy weekend. We had stomps yesterday. We had just punching ons and just upsets, if you want to call it that, from what we saw week 1 form. But everything said and done, I look at that standings leaderboard and go, oh, we're back in split 1.
Yeah, no.
Nothing's
Sort of
changed.
it's all come out in the wash. Rusty, any last words?
I'm wearing pants.
You're wearing pants. It was a long journey. It was a stomp. How do you do both of those things? You use your legs. What do those legs go in? They go in pants. We'll see you next week for OPL. We'll see you in a couple of minutes for the MPL.
Today is the Neosurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
Neosurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
It's got it! This is deadly! It's got it!
Welcome to the 2020 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson.
And that's a beautiful hemo play. Got to multiple members. He gets himself a double kill.
It's Ray's doing what he does, the team fight king.
We love everybody. We love the OPL.
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
Greetings, Captain. Incoming status report with news from the Convergence. We've lost contact with some of our allies and enemies have called in reinforcements. We'll have to round up some new recruits if we want to restore peace to the galaxy. Ready? This is Team Fight Tactics Galaxies. Return to the stars. Valkyrie and Void forces have withdrawn from the intergalactic arena. But systems report that new champions have emerged with abilities we've never seen before. Mechanized units identified as Battlecast wreak fear and havoc among the ranks of their adversaries, while Astros possess unique abilities It looks like some remarkably powerful champions are making their way to the front lines. A creature of total mechanical terror, Urgot launches his drill at enemies and reels them in for utter annihilation. Janna casts powerful storms across the battlefield, bolstering allies and disrupting enemy units with impressive crowd control. Thanks to her unique origin, she grants allies additional attack bonuses, giving her team some much-needed support. Oh, one more thing. The Galactic Leaderboard has been reset. With legions of new recruits entering the intergalactic stage, each with unlimited potential waiting to be tapped, I can hardly calculate all the future possibilities. Well, actually, I can. But that's not the point. The galaxy needs you, Captain. So, ready on your go.
They say that you can see the devil dance all night